everyone. Thank you once again for tuning in to another exciting episode. I say that all the time because it's true of the iConis podcast. And the icon is, hold up, can't jump the gun. As you know, I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D for Deep Dark Delicious. You can find me on my website, that is barry3d.com. You'll find everything I'm doing from this show to live performances all over. Okay, so keep tuned, mark it, there we go. On my side, the man, the myth, the legend, the one that's got you rocking all night long when you're doing the dishes and dancing, it's because of him. And who am I talking about? The one and only Mr.
Rod C. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We got something for you. Just gonna say it like that. It's a special month. Why? Why is it special, Barry? What's so special?
Because the theme is Black History Month.
Yeah,
forever.
Right.
That's right. And before people turn around, I was like, what? Hey, look, we got 1 month in a month. Okay, every leap year we get 29 days instead of 28. We got the coldest month of the year if you live in Canada. So you know what? Recognize, enjoy, let us have our moment. Okay. All right. So for Black History Month, we're covering characters that fit that theme, that would be positive influences for the young people and anyone outside of the culture too. So this way we can all bring everybody together regardless of race, color, or creed, right? Good. All right.
Yep.
One Love, Bob Marley film. Come on, check it out. All right then. So that's what it is. On that note, before we get down to it, as Rod always reminds me, manners maketh the man. We're going to do a round table where to find everybody. Of course, you know where to find me, barry3d.com. All right, cool. We good? Awesome.
Good? Where I go?
You, Rod?
Me? Where can you find me? Listen, you always can find me. Very simple. It's just straightforward. You can find me on the World Wide Web. Find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/DJ Rod C. Listen, you can find me on the world of the tick and the talk and the talk and the tick. You can find me on TikTok at DJ Rod C1. That's DJ Rod C1. Find me, reach out. We're good. Let's go.
He plays all the time, multiple times through the week. Catch him live, of course. Bookmark where you go be at. You don't want to miss it, or even if you're going to be in the kitchen doing the dishes. As we're saying. So there's people that support the show. So we got to shout out once again. Wow Comics out in Kitchener. Tell Wes and the guys we said hi. Check out Check Swings out in Montreal. Tell Trevor and the guys we said hi. And also check out the comic book store, A Hero's Tale in Cambridge. Tell Andrew and the guys we said hi. That's the best places to go to start off your comic book collections. If you don't know where to go, they will hook you up. All right. On top of that, if you want to know about podcasting, hey, you want to do a podcast like we do? We use Podbean. So you can find us at iConis.podbean.com, and definitely you too can have your voice out there to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's the best way to go. That's my opinion about that, and we're enjoying it.
Let's go.
On top of talking about podcasts, hey, we are part of the Subculture Podcast Network. So it's us with 5 other podcasters on there, and it's all like nerd and geek culture that you will enjoy. Anything from Star Trek to Star Wars, comic books, TV, anything along those lines. So check it out.
Here.
Subculture Podcast Network. We've got our Instagram page, Facebook page, all that stuff. We some collaborations coming up very, very soon. So you don't want to miss out. I think probably one already just happened, so you don't want to miss the next one. Okay. Also, a great friend of the show, Larry Ricklazzato. He's been on a couple of times. He will be back, and he has his Facebook page, which is called Forgotten, Obscure, and Underrated Comic Characters. Join it. Follow the rules, be respectful, have a lot of fun. What he talks about there in that Facebook page and that Facebook group is a lot of stuff that we talk about here on this show.
Yep.
Okay. I think we've got everyone covered, but if you want to do a podcast or anything along those lines, no matter what it is, if you need a graphic artist, anything worldwide, there's only one man you need to contact, and his name is
J Bird Digital Arts.
Mr. Jason Reese, J Bird Digital Arts. Hit him up. Tell him you heard about him on the iConis podcast, and he will give you a discount on the work. Right? That's all you got to do. Thank you very much, Jay, for always keeping us there and keeping us looking fresh, exciting. Da-na-na-na-na. All right, then.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta keep it nice, man. 2024. Here we go. So, Rod, on the
yeah.
iConis podcast today. The icon is
Nubia.
Nubia. You're gonna say Nubia? Who's Nubia? I'll tell you who Nubia is. Nubia is the Black Wonder Woman. Okay, here we go. We got the Linda Carter theme music going in there. You know, or no, get off. Right. So Nubia is the Black Wonder Woman, right? Literally, that's exactly what she was. So she made her appearance back in 1973 in Wonder Woman issue number 204. Four, like Four Horsemen. All right, I got my wrestling references going on. So in 1973, issue 204 in January, he made her very first appearance in DC Comics. She was the first female Black character that they had at the time that was brought in, especially mainstream. So a lot of, and now this was an interesting period during Wonder Woman's history, because at this point during Wonder Woman, she was no longer Wonder Woman. She was Diana Prince. That's another tale in itself. But let's just say that this ends up with her kind of getting kickstart back to Wonder Woman. So at one point, she was Wonder Woman, and then they depowered her, and then they took away her memory, so she forgot about being Wonder Woman and Themyscira Island. And she was just Diana Prince, and she wore a white suit, just a white, for the time. It was the 70s. That's how people dressed. So she had on like white bell-bottom pants, a white top that kind of matched. She was
skin tight.
Skin
tight, like an outfit. It was a uniform.
Yeah, it was a full outfit. It was just a regular outfit, not a superhero costume, nothing. It was a regular outfit. She was part of a business, and she was just, she was still full of action. She was dealing with espionage and so forth. But she wasn't Wonder Woman. There was no invisible plane, no Themyscira, no golden lariat or lasso or whatever you want to call it. There was none of that stuff. No stopping bullets with her bracelets, none of that. She was just, adventurous. She was like Tomb Raider. She was like, Lara Croft.
Nice.
Yeah, she had skills. She just didn't remember anything. Her memory was white. Yeah. So in that issue number 204 of Wonder Woman, it starts off with, someone across the building turn around, guy pulls out a gun, a sniper rifle, and he assassinates. He snipes someone from a couple of blocks away in this office building. Boom. And then she's at this, I guess, boardroom dinner or whatever. It's very rushed. And she goes and grabs this Asian man, I Ching, that's his name. Yeah. And he's like, hold on, something's happening. And boom, he gets sniped. And his last words to her is, don't weep for me. It's like, don't weep for me. Daughter, my daughter I never had. You're the daughter I never had. Like we looked at her as a daughter that he never had. And when he died in Diana Prince's arms, she's like, you're the father I never had, and he's like, kind of weep, no tears for me. And so that's where it starts off for 204. I keep saying 2024, but issue 204. 204. So this is what we're getting into. She now faces down this sniper. So there's a helicopter on the roof. Diana Prince runs up there, gets on the helicopter. They all know she's Diana Prince. He starts saying, hey, with these police officers, over that building. That's where the sniper is. Oh, he's trapped in there. We can't get to him. It's like, don't worry, I'll get to him. She's like a woman of action, like
100%.
Right? Like no disregard for her own safety. Okay. There she's going. He shoots a grenade rocket launcher at the helicopter. It blows up. She falls down. She could have fell to her death, but no. She falls on top of a gargoyle, hits her head. Poor child, head hit hard concrete. Lottie dottie. Yeah. Deep cuts for a DJ. Deep cuts.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
If you don't know it, look it up. Lottie dottie. Come on. That's Slick Rick the ruler. Okay. She now loses her memory. So people now find her lying on this gargoyle, stories above the street, pull her in through the window. They're like, Diana
Prince. She's unconscious.
Yeah.
Wow,
she's like,
so
Diana
Prince. She's still alive. Why is she still alive?
Like, who's Diana Prince? Well, you're Diana Prince. No, I don't remember. What's the last thing you remember? I don't remember anything. I just gotta go back.
Gotta get out of here. I gotta go someplace. I gotta go back.
Yeah, exactly what she said. She's gotta go back. And they're like, okay, back where? I don't know. I just have an urge to go back. So they take Diana Prince to the hospital. They get her in the bed. They check her out. Oh, you got a slight concussion. Oh, you got amnesia. I got to get back. Get back where? I don't know. But I can't be here. I got to go back. And she's trying to fight her way out from hospital staff. They're holding her down. No, no, no. They have her tied down. She escapes somehow. Like they're not, and she's once again stories above the ground. So she didn't go out the front door. She went out the window. That means she climbed out the window, slid all the way down, gone. So she can't fly. Remember, she don't have her powers. She's gone. Then she gets to a military base, steals a plane, starts flying. They're like, okay, someone stole a plane. Where's the plane going? We don't know. And she's in the plane flying it. I got to get back.
Right.
Don't know where, but I have an urge to fly this way.
Right.
Yeah. All right. She flies the plane. Another Air Force plane comes in, tries to talk her down. She won't talk down. They shoot her down. Plane blow up. She survives. She jumped into the water, starts swimming. Then she sees a shark coming for her. She's like, "Great Hera." Why'd I say Hera? What am I talking about? So then she's got to deal with the shark. So she plays dead. The shark come close to her. She fight the shark. She get on the shark back. She starts riding that shark like a bull. She lasted longer than 8 seconds. There's jokes in there, but keep it so PG. See me on stage. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Then she, a boat pulls up, sees her on top of this shark, fights off the shark, pulls her onto the boat, and their only words are, "Oh my gosh, we got to get back to Themyscira Island."
Yeah, it's you. It's her. By this time, she's completely knocked out. She's just exhausted from fighting from the shark, so she barely made it out alive. And they just put her on the boat and realizing, like, oh my, do you know who it is? It's her. We got to take her back. We got to take her back to the queen. Hilarious. Hilarious. And then you see the next, go on.
Right. So they get her back to the queen. The queen sees her. "Oh my gosh, it's my daughter. Diana." Who?
A bacon pie?
Wonder Woman. What? Which means she has amnesia. Okay, hook her up to the machine. Maybe this machine will bring her back her memories. And they start going through, and now it's almost like they did a little bit of a retcon on her history.
Right.
Yeah, and they kind of bring her up, and then they put her back in her Wonder Woman outfit. She gets up, and it's like, "Great Hera, please let her get her memory back. Don't let my child be lost." And sure enough, Wonder Woman stands up
and says, "Mother, yes, you remember. Great." But here's a little note for if you're all wondering why are we going all for this and we didn't get to the main person as yet. We're about to. But here's a little note that was in there. When her mother was saying, put her to the machine to get her memory back, her mother says, "Which is wonderful. This is a very futuristic George Jetson that has some type of machine that you put on your head, sort of, I think like Cerebro. Basically, it will go for her mind and just help her refresh her memories. Please put in the tapes of her memory. Exclude tape 3, 4, and 5. Are you sure, Queen? Exclude tape 3, 4, and 5. You're the queen. No problem." Boop. Get bolted. Then she remembers. Mother. Great, she remembers. Now the mother is all worried, like, I know I told her not to put 3, 4, and 5 in there. Hope she didn't remember 3, 4, and 5. I'm just saying that all right now to put a pin on it. We'll come back to that.
Right. Exactly. So we go through that little thing. She comes back with the whole, "Okay, Mom, I remember you. This is great. Here I am, Wonder Woman." And then, out of nowhere, this fully clad, armored female shows up and says, "I invoke the right of," I think, Ares, or she invokes the right of combat, to fight, to be Wonder Woman. She's like, "I am Wonder Woman. We can't have 2 Wonder Women. There can only be 1. I want to have a fight, determine who's the real Wonder Woman." Now, this storyline with Diana not having her powers. So Wonder Woman being Diana Prince in the white outfit, not having her powers, ran for a while. So it's almost like this is bringing her back to her roots to show why she's Wonder Woman.
Bum, 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 bum. Ow.
Right? We can't spin. We too old. Maybe in the chair.
The shoulder. Yeah.
The shoulder. So they go and they do the whole rites, like what Wonder Woman had to do at the very beginning, and like in issue number 1, that whole trial she had to do to prove of, goddess and grace, that she could take on the mantle of Wonder Woman. So it's almost like a retelling of that again. So she goes through all the challenges with this other fully clad person. So the person has on like, full armor. It looks like medieval armor, but it's form fitting, right?
Right.
And I mean, you can't see anything like from the arms, the legs, you can tell it's a female, full out covered face mask with, how the Greeks had their mask, kind of thing, or how we depict them, but it was full covered, just eye slits. That's it. So they go through the whole trials they have to do. Then it's a one-on-one combat, and it starts going. And the armored combatant has a sword, and she knocks out the sword from Diana's hand. And instead of trying to kill her, because that's what it's supposed to be, he kind of hesitates and sticks the sword in the sand beside Diana's head. And she's like, what happened? You won. And then she takes off her helmet, and lo and behold, it is a nice looking black woman right there. Boom. He's like, my name is Nubia. All right, then. The queen's sitting up there. Queen's going, she looks familiar.
There's something about you that's just, putting off my senses. Like, I know you, but I don't know you. But I know you.
Right? You make my heart race, but I don't know why.
Right.
Why? Okay. So, and I said that back then, I find that they were very fast paced with the Wonder Woman storytelling around those issues. So, okay, Wonder Woman's like, oh, you can keep the mantle. You can still be Wonder Woman in man's world. Boom, boom, boom. She leaves. Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, goes back to, to man's world.
There you go.
The other one, Nubia, turns around and she's getting ready to leave. But she's now queen of the floating island. So she's leaving with her warriors. Now, lo and behold, her warriors are mostly male. They're not females. But she's the queen of them. So she's like, okay, we're leaving. And at that moment, the queen, so Wonder Woman's mom, runs down and says, oh my gosh, hugs her. And then, of course, it jumps through a series of events of, I remember who you are. Right? Well, it doesn't happen right away. It happens like 2 issues later on. But she does the hug. Nubia's like, hey, okay. One of her soldiers wanted to attack, saying, oh my gosh, she's attacking. She's like, nope, put your swords away. She's like, women don't attack women. Women don't kill women. That's a man thing to do. Put your sword away. This is why we have problems. So she's almost a different take of how she looks at men as opposed to the Mascarians look at men. So her soldiers get on there and they're dressed like African warriors. That's what they look like when you look at the men. With the headdresses, the loincloths, their weapons. It looks like typical African warriors if you would picture it. They go to get on the boat. The queen and Nubia hug. They go their separate ways.
Right.
Diana Prince has her series of adventures, but we're not focusing on her. We're focusing on Nubia. Because this is what the show's about. Black History Month, lesser known. There we go. Everyone knows Wonder Woman. You can look that up. There's a lot of documentation that covers Wonder Woman during this time period and her losing her powers, gaining her powers, and her adventures. We on the opposite side. All right. So Nubia goes back to what she calls the floating city. And when she's there, floating island. Thank you. She goes back to the floating island. And when she's there, all of a sudden, 2 of the male warriors are fighting to be her man. Right? And they fight each other. And it's like, well, we're going to fight each other because one of us wanted, the loser can't be your man. The winner gets to be your man.
Right.
And she's like, really? I don't think so. She's like, I will fight. And if you beat me, you can be my man. But if I win, no. And so she goes and defends herself because keep in mind, she's a queen. So they're still trying to be very macho and I guess establish their dominance, which just doesn't work. She manhandles them, wins the fight, doesn't kill the soldier, walks away, goes in her hut. But then he has a moment. And that moment is, oh my gosh, I feel lonely. Like when she was outside, she's putting on a strong front. She's a queen. She's got to put on a strong front, everything. But when she walks into her hut, no one can see her. She's by herself. She's just sitting there and she's like, I feel lonely. And I felt more lonely after the queen hugged me. Like she can sense that I didn't have a mother. I didn't have a father. I don't know who my parents are. The queen hugging me, it just brought this loneliness back to the front. Did she detect that I was lonely also in that moment and maybe needed this hug? Because at the bottom of the line, they're all human people. They're all portrayed as people, regardless of what superhuman feats they can do. So, the strong woman now is showing a softer side. And I think that made sense. As a ruler of a country, a nation, a group of people, you can't show weakness in front of the masses. You can't show weakness in front of your other, I guess, your commanding officers who serve you. So you got to keep that to yourself and have that moment alone. Like you got to deal with any loneliness, insecurities, self doubt by yourself. Because as soon as you whisper to someone else, like, "Hey, I'm feeling this way," hey, the queen's not feeling herself today. She might be getting weak, and that leads to we should overthrow her, which happens if you look through history.
Unfortunately, okay. Yes.
Anything dealing with history, I don't care if you're reading Napoleon, I don't care if you're watching Greek and Roman, Egyptian, Viking, or whatever. Anytime, American, anytime someone shows a sign of weakness, you don't want to be a leader of a nation and sneeze. Sign of weakness, he might have allergies. Let's get him. Right? So I thought that part of her story was really interesting to show that it's not a tough person altogether, but there's a little bit more humanity to her than that, which I'm like, oh, all right. So first of all, you've declared yourself. Well, not declared yourself. It's already been official that she did have the title of Wonder Woman. So we have a black character in DC in 1973 in a prominent role. So just like we covered Eddie March, Iron Man way back, we're now talking about, we got another one in the wings, just like Jon Stewart for Hal Jordan, right? Now you got Nubia for Wonder Woman. Okay. Yep. Strong, independent person. So there's where we're at right now in this adventure. Rod, what do you think about this so far?
What I like the whole idea that we are having opportunity to see diversity in that, and especially one of the trios, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, one of the known three of DC, that there's another history that's being unfolded. And seeing her being very, like you said, she's tough. She's basically the leader of her own nation, her own tribe in that realm type of scenario. Seeing that how she is able to dominate and show them the authority that she's the one in charge. And so the scenario with the two men fighting is basically, they wanted to be married, to be connected, married to her. And they realized we are the only two. It's going to be between the two of us. One of us is going to have to live. I'm not going to let you live it out. But it's hilarious that she comes in like, I didn't make a choice that one of you guys, that I wanted either of you. But you know what? If someone you have to choose someone to fight. Okay, I'll put my ring in the hat. And it's hilarious that, they're like, okay, sure, I guess so. Still thinking very dominantly that they can overthrow her, which was still very hilarious to me, that this is your ruler, and you really have the audacity to think that you could take her out when you clearly know that she's very authoritative. She's very in charge. She got her stuff together, and you think you're technically the general. You're technically the general, and you feel like you can overthrow the leader?
Come on, son.
Come on, son.
Come on, son.
She just put you in your place, son. I apologize. Come on, son. She's gonna put you in your place, and she did. So it's nice that we see her in that particular area of her setting, like basically showing that she's in charge. They're showing her as being a very dominant individual, and that she's independent, and that she clearly saying, I don't need anybody to work with, to be with, to show, I have no weakness in that regard. But like Barry said, that was all not a front, but it was just showing that she knows that in her position, she has to show authority. But behind closed door, it may have been one of those things that's been bothering her slightly. But by having Queen Hepatila reach out to her and just basically speak to her in a particular manner that threw her off and made her think like, did the Queen realize that I'm I'm lonely? Did I show that type of energy that someone picked up on that? Maybe it's a woman thing. I don't know. Like I'm so confused right now. And it showed that within the script, within the imagery, it just showed that, you know what, there's another side to her. And we'll get to another part of the story, but it was very, very good that I saw that. And it made me feel like, okay, they're really trying to pull back the layers on
Yeah.
Nubia, giving us different opportunities to see that she's part of a secret society. Because the way they conducted themselves and they looked, they weren't really part of man's world. So that's something to take into effect. But she literally walked in to claim, I come here for the art of challenge for Wonder Woman, and she's basically in garbs, like Barry said, of Roman garbs, and all you had was her hair coming out the back, her black hair out of the back. That's the only way. Plus, again, the form fitting of her outfit made it, you can tell is a female, and that's perfect. But other than that, she basically came there to. I came here to what was that saying? I'm here to kick ass and chewing gum. I'm all out of chewing gum.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. I'm all out of bubble gum. Yep. Roddy Piper from They Live.
Oh boy, let's go. Memories don't live. Okay, stop it. Good.
What people do. All right. We good.
We're good. Right on. Focus.
All right.
Focus. So
focus.
Yeah, that's one of the great things, and we're gonna find out. If you're gonna take that point, Barry, just talk about how she actually came to be. Because to me, it's a great story. It's a great place you can see that. Where did she come from? We're gonna find out just now.
We're gonna find out just now. So I'm gonna take a 2-second pause. I should have done this at the very beginning. So here we go. So as I said, Wonder Woman, right? Issue 204, 1973. So Nubia was created by Robert Kenninger.
We just went all fun in. We didn't even do that. That's
right.
We apologize. People. We know that's a routine. We were just so excited.
Sorry. Right. So Robert Kenninger and Don. So just a little bit of background. So Robert Kenninger, he was comic book writer, editor, and he was in the business for like 50 years. On top of that, he was writing Wonder Woman for about 20 years, and he took over the scripting from William Moulton Hardison. So, this is a guy who was almost like one of the creators of the book from way Wonder Woman way back. So he wrote Wonder Woman for 20 years. He was off for about a year. He just came back after being off from this book for a year, and he came back with bringing in Nubia. So that's one. And then you got Don Heck. So Don Heck, been writing comics, for years, like drawing comics, for years, not writing, drawing comics for years. So he was behind, Marvel comics like, Iron Man, the Wasp, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Wonder Man, yada, yada, yada. And he had, some writing, some drawing on the Avengers. So this is what it is. So for myself, so far, I'm looking at this, and I'm going to get into her origin in a second, right? For Nubia's origin. But, the whole thing of, the tribe fighting, the two men fighting to marry her. And how they were. It gave me a lot of vibes of Black Panther. Wakanda Forever. The whole Wonder Woman fighting for the mantle of Wonder Woman. It's like Black Panther fighting, to keep his mantle. Yep. So a lot of parallels in there. I'm not sure if there was any influence. I am not there. I can't say. I need a time machine. So until they invent one, I may not know. So I'll have to do some more research on that. But this is where it comes into. So now we get into the origin. And the origin, which I thought of Nubia, was interesting. Because it was a little bit of a retcon. It was a little bit of, let's go back and do this. And it's funny that, all the main three, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman all have their black counterparts that have shown up in different times. So there we go. So for Wonder Woman, the retcon is we get what happened on those missing tapes. Is the Queen turned around, and back then, this is the origin, that she made Diana out of some clay on the beach. While she didn't just make one body out of clay, she made two. So one was out of the lighter sand and lighter clay, and one was out of darker clay. Yeah. And you got the souls put in there by the gods. And they're like, okay, this is cool. But then Aries popped up and went.
Well, you see, there's the thing. I was very interested on that because at that time, it wasn't even named Aries, it was named Mars.
Mars,
So
thank you. Yes.
Mars was the god of war at that time, at least on that rendition. And I was like, oh, really? What about Aries? But I was like, okay, we got Aphrodite, who's still there, Hercules, everybody else is there, but I didn't know. So that's even more history. I got to go back and just seeing like, so when did they start saying Mars to Aries? But either way, we basically saying the god of war is the one who came in and basically did the how do I say it? He did the old typical coming like saying, I'm gonna take something. You defeat me, I'm just gonna take something on the way out. He basically pulled a Hordak.
Yes. Yes. He pulled a Hordak. Masters of the Universe. Yes. Oh, we got to talk about this. Oh, Rod knows how to fire me up.
As you can tell, I finished watching it, but we'll come back to that. Okay, cool.
All right. Cool. We'll come back to that. So yes, you're right. He pulled a Hordak. So, and you brought out an interesting point. It's true. So keep in mind that Ares, Zeus, these are names of the Greek gods.
Mm-hmm.
The misconception. In Greek, it's Heracles. Hercules is the Roman name. Everyone goes by Hercules, and they always attach it to Greek, but Heracles is the Greek name. Hercules is the Roman name. So in Roman, it's not Zeus, it's Jupiter. In Roman, it's not Ares, it's Mars. And in Roman, it's not Heracles, it's Hercules. I know everyone always says Hercules. The books have been done that way, and he always supposed to be Greek, but that's where it kind of, I don't know why they maybe it was just easier to say or pronounce. It rolls off the tongue better, and they kind of just took liberties with it. I mean, this is fantasy at the same time. Okay, but this is what it is. So bottom line, the Greeks had their names for their gods, and when they got invaded by Rome, Rome said, hey, we've now conquered you. We are now going to rename all your gods, the names but they all have pretty much the same origins.
Right.
The stories are pretty much the same. It's just different. So the Romans named the gods after all the planets that we see today, henceforth, Saturn and Jupiter, Mars. Okay. All right. And the list goes on. So there you go. That's your history mythology moment at the moment. You can dig a little bit more into that. So you're right. Mars turns around, grabs her, one of the two, and takes off. Right. And Mars's plan, after fighting the Amazons, Mars takes off, grabs them, and grabs Nubia. So she's a baby, takes her back, and then trains her to be his quote unquote weapon. All right, let's look at this for half a second. You've been brought back to life. So I know they've always kind of gone with this kind of thing. Is that's more modern day where they do the well of souls. So there's two souls, and the souls got embedded into where it had to be. Well, it was one soul. That's how Diana came to be. So it depends on if you want to go for that. Take any of that influence from George Perez run. So, anyways, let's go back to 1973. Two things of clay, one light, one dark. Right. So it's one white, one black. Okay, here we go. They both get life put into them. All of a sudden, Mars turns around after being defeated by the Amazons, and his revenge was stealing one of them. He took Nubia. You're trained, and now strength-wise, power-wise, they're almost parallel to a certain degree. Like Wonder Woman, right. Diana Prince is a little bit stronger, a little bit faster than Nubia.
And there's the reason why. The reason why is that when Mars or Ares took Nubia, this was just before the procedure that Wonder Woman or Diana Prince would have been bestowed by the gift of the speed of Hercules, the strength of Hercules, the speed of Mercury, all these particular attributes was supposed to be done at that particular time. But because Mars took Nubia away, basically, by the time they started the procedures, there's only one child here left. So that's the reason. To me, that is the distinction of why Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, would always be a little bit more powerful, a little bit more, has some better attributes versus Nubia. Now, Nubia has been trained, and we'll go through the story of finding out that she's been trained and brought up, like you said, from Mars to be able to be a warrior. But those are
Right.
certain attributes that she missed out, and that to me is a difference
Well,
between.
but that's the equalizer right there, right? Because
That is
you
it.
might be a little bit weaker than somebody, on different aspects for how they're putting in the comic book, but then you're
Right.
trained by a god of war.
There,
Because in
this is
DC,
it.
Ares does exist, and so does Mars. The two of them do exist, right? So bottom line is you were trained by a god of war in all forms of combat.
100%.
Like you have that guy who's maybe a sumo wrestler and he's going up against someone who's judo. Doesn't matter if the sumo wrestler has more mass. A judo master is known to use your own strength and momentum against you. So they might not punch you, but you go to punch them, they're going to grab and flip you and toss you around like a sack of potatoes. Right. And levels the playing field. So picture that's kind of a Nubia, Diana Prince kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you're right. Got taken by Mars, the god of war.
Right.
And then, of course, they went through the typical Amazon, Hercules, taking over. Then he turned on the Amazons. He chained them. They had their chains, broke their chains. They escaped.
Yeah.
You know that story. That's how they've told it for years. But Nubia was trained by Mars, god of war, to come in there and kind of upset the apple cart. When this was done, everybody else's memory was kind of erased to a certain degree. Like the general rest of Themyscira did not know there was two. They only knew there was one.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well,
okay.
That's how I look at it. Yeah, exactly. But I think because at the time it wasn't. I'm trying to remember if I did see if it said if it like they were wiped or it's just because maybe there was like more in house and it was just those two at the time that they were like she was retrieved or taken so early in the game. It wasn't fully announced that there has been two children that were born or created.
Right.
Before the ceremony and that type of scenario. So that's how I took it in that regard.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I took it like the fact that like, okay, because the only other person that would have known she was there was the queen, right?
Right.
So, and the queen seems like her memory seemed kind of foggy. Now, keep in mind, Amazons, on Themyscira are very long lived. They're almost immortal. I mean, they've been around for hundreds and hundreds, thousands of years on that island. So here we are as grown men. I'm telling you right now, there's things I can't remember when I was 8 years old. People come to me and say, remember when you did this at 10? Remember when you did this at 20? I did that. I said that. It's not because of mind going. It's just sometimes you forget certain things, right? It's just age. So if you've been around for thousands of years, there's some details you might forget. Now, I know you'll say loss of a child, Barry. Well, remember, she never really got attached to the child. She made two play forms.
Right.
One got life and then one got taken.
Right.
And maybe it was her survival instinct that was just kind of put it out of her mind.
Right. Well, plus also probably took it at, because I took it at that she said, I have a memory. Like there's something about you I should know, I shouldn't know. So I took it that she felt that if Mars took the child, I have no way of confirming. Like there's no picture later on with the newspaper with date like saying it's today's date that the child is still alive type of scenario.
Yes, yeah, and I think there's some magic in it too that kind of clouded her memory.
Definitely,
these are gods we're dealing with. He doesn't want his plans found out before he's ready to spring it. Got to keep the element of surprise. Part of being a god of war.
Here you go.
Battle tactics.
There you go.
So it comes up to that. You see her going back. So then you see that origin finally take place where, we know Nubia was kidnapped and trained by Mars, a god of war. And I keep saying a god of war because Ares does exist in this time too.
Yes.
So she's under the Roman, and it explained her costume to a certain degree because Romans had a little bit of a different outfit, armor than the Greeks did, right? That's how you're able to tell one from the other and many other reasons. But there we go. So now we fast forward. It comes down to when something is happening. Diana Prince is going through her series of adventures, and Nubia shows up. That's going to help her out. But then at one point, she starts attacking her. She starts saying, "Oh, wait, continue on." So usual, two people fighting again, because she always said, "I'll be back to fight." So they do have their fight. I mean, there's things that lead up to it, but they do have this fight that breaks out. Now, during the fight, while they're going at it, like Nubia is not holding back. Diana doesn't want to kill her because she sees her as her sister, as she should, because they are sisters. They were born, let's say, by the same mother, same birth date kind of thing. And during this fight, Diana notices that there's a ring on Nubia's finger and kind of knocks it off and catches it, and while they're in midair. And this ring has the marking of Mars. Once that ring is off her finger, you realize that Mars was controlling Nubia through this ring.
Mm-hmm.
And once the ring came off, she came back to herself. I mean, she still has her memories, but she knew
she wasn't aggressive. She wasn't aggressive. Right.
Yeah. She's free like a bird. Okay, Mars, let's talk for half a second. You've got two pissed off Amazon warriors.
Come on,
sisters.
Son. Come on, son.
Right? Okay. If there's one thing we got to say about our Black Queens, you shouldn't piss her off.
Come on, son.
That's right. That's a whole. You could have done something less dumb, like, I don't know, starting a fight with the other gods. Now you got right. Okay. I don't know about you, but I know my mom lose her temper. I'm glad to still be here.
Come on, son.
Come on, son. That was not smart. That woman asserted her dominance like no tomorrow. And then she teamed up with Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman, like Diana Prince, was like, yeah. So it was like sisters doing it for ourselves. It was like Scary Spice teaming up with, I don't know, Posh Spice, or no, Sporty Spice and Scary Spice teaming up and saying, bring it. Long penis. And the two of them took on Mars. Two Amazons. Now remember, one's trained by him from a child to a grown woman. The other one is powers of the gods and gifts from the gods and goddesses. And they both went after Mars. No other god needed to show up. Lucky Mars is still around for one reason, because the two of them have compassion.
100%. Foolish immortal. I normally say foolish mortal. No, that was foolish immortal.
Absolutely foolish. I'm like, what are you thinking, man? So this is the story of Nubia. Now, to give you just a quick rundown, right? I mean, they're showing here in her ability. So, yeah, she's Amazon. She did join the Justice League-ish at one point. She's got super strength, speed, agility, reflexes, senses, stamina, durability, and endurance. Superior hand-to-hand combat. Once again, she was raised by the god of war, or a god of war. So her magic weapons are, she's got a magic sword and her armor, so they're magic. So when Wonder Woman has bracelets, she's got full out armor. She's got a paralyzing cold sight. Yeah. You know who has that too? My mom. You do something wrong, she'll just give you that stare and you freeze in your tracks. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
to feel has the ability to open dimensional portals, with her lion armor. So they aren't. So that's one of the things. So okay, all right. Possesses the ability to relieve her body of physical injury and toxins by becoming one with Earth's soil and then reforming her body whole again. So she gets injured, breaks down her body, and comes out from the soil, and she's good to go. Oh, sorry. This answers the question. And she has immortality. Okay. All right.
Let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that. Okay. We'll just that's Nubia. Now I know she has come back many different times over the years. Like when she's gone like for 20 years, she came back, changed her name, New 52, retcon this, retcon that. We're just going from the beginning and this is where we're at right now. So wow. So just take that. We have, there's many, we know there's like different versions of Superman or Black Superman out there, right? With the S on their chest. And all right, we know there's people that have taken up the mantle of the Bat who are people of color. Thank you very much. And now we have, this Wonder Woman character. The only thing that gets me is she's still like out there. Like she should have more of a main run with all her powers. She could have gone through something where Diana Prince deals a lot with the Greek gods. She should deal more with the Roman gods. And I think that would be an interesting take on her persona, so forth. So that's it. But let me just leave this. So Rod, let's get down to the brass tacks of it, Rod. That's the history. Yeah. What'd you think about it? Where would you like to see this go? How would you like this together in your own mind?
So I like like the concept. I like the availability of having one of the key characters as a familiar character that we know from a different point of view, a different standpoint. Um, I liked it. I liked it, and just hearing that, the similarities and the stuff that are completely off, as we pointed out, between Diana and Nubia. What I would like to see now, I would like to see um a series. I actually want to see like a series. Now, I think I said it before in one of the recent ones, you know, certain ones I will probably want like a 3 or 5 or 4 series. This one I want 3 series. I want 3 series, 3 or 4 series. I'll even push it to 4. Um, but I want it to be like a Netflix, Amazon Prime type of series, and we can do 3 series and have maybe like say 10 episodes each type of scenario. And I want it to be timestamp in the sense of the first one will be when she started, like how she came to be. So basically, the storyline that we're talking about right now, kind of bring it around that time frame, bring it up to, and then have another one where she's doing solo bits or anything about herself. So now we're going to start to pull back the layers of who she is, find out who she is and what she can do and how she can contribute to the DCU in that regard. Then I want the third one where she actually has the ability to team up, have adventures with her sister, and, you know, see a couple of the JLs, in some type of adventures, whatever the case would be. But I would like to see them pair off like that. So this is, for me, I would like a live action one. Now, I picked somebody that I said, you know what, I need someone who's going to have that vigor, who have the camera presence to be strong, to be aggressive, but yet be compassionate enough that be able to, give it those, like, say, okay, I can see what you're doing. I can see what you're doing. So I wanted to go with Coco Jones. So Coco Jones, if you don't know, the most recent or most known one right now, she is Hilary Banks on the new Bel-Air show. She's also an artist. She's a singer. She's an R&B singer. Great voice as well. Right. So even at a segment where she was singing, beautiful. But we'll get into that. But I wanted to have someone who is someone who basically who fit that particular profile. She's a very beautiful lady. She looks, beautiful. Has a beautiful stage presence, on screen presence, so she can be able to pull it off very well. She doesn't currently have, to my immediate knowledge, I don't see any type of action type of roles, but you got to start somewhere. Like, I'll even say, because to my immediate, like Gal Gadot, she didn't have any action roles to my immediate recollection prior to Wonder Woman.
No, she just made an appearance in Fast and Furious, the franchise, right?
Right.
It was nothing. Yeah, but she started off there. That's when it first came to me. But in real life, I think she had like some army training and stuff like that. But I get what you're saying. On camera, no, right.
On camera, she doesn't have. So she did the profile and they worked with her well. So I believe Coco Jones could be able to take that role and actually bring some life to it. Yeah, I would like to see that, because then when you're now going to pair those two off together, if you do put a scene, now I know they're basically look like they're planning to recast Wonder Woman, because I think she's at the point now. They're like basically James Gunn is just saying like we're starting all fresh again.
Yep.
Fine, no problem. No problem. But I think that if you get Coco Jones in there, this would be a great time that if you're going to start a new DCU, put her draft on the table, and eventually let's work towards adding her into the realm as well. So I'm going for like a 3 or 4 series, at least a three season type series, at least 8 to 10 episodes, and just we can start going into the mytho, like you said. Let's go on the Greek side of the mytho, the Roman side of the mythos of her, and just basically pull that from there.
Okay, but you're going animation though, right?
No, I want live. Actually, I want
Oh,
live.
you want live? Okay, okay.
I
Sorry,
want
sorry.
live. I
Okay,
said
you
I
want
want live.
live.
Yeah, I want live.
Okay,
I want
okay. I
live.
got you. I like
I
that. I
want
like
live.
that.
I
Well
want
done,
live
sir.
because I think especially now if they're going to reboot the DCU, this
Yeah.
is a great time that you can now bring in someone and have the opportunity that you can put her in the files right there.
All right. I like that. I like that. Oh, so here's what I've been thinking, and it comes
Mm,
down to my little mind going. So first and foremost, I forgot to fan cast this here. It's like, I'm going to get down to it. I'm going to explain a couple of things first. So I like exactly where you're going. Once again, we seem to be on this same line. So one, just like we talked about Marvel Spotlight.
right.
Okay. DC Showcase.
D. Right. That was in my head. Honestly, as a side note, I was like trying to remember what the DC version of it. I went mentally blank. And I said, I know it until you said it was a showcase. Damn it, it was showcase. But I was gonna say do it that way. That's why I said, at least
Right.
give me a series. But that's what I wanted to say.
Right.
DC should
Right.
be.
Exactly.
Sorry, go
So,
on, go on.
oh, no problem, man.
We
So,
just said that the other week.
So James Gunn, if you're listening, here you go, man. You turn around, you start using the other properties you have. So one of the properties you need to use is DC Showcase. You got DC Presents, and that's usually Superman teaming up with someone. You got Brave and the Bold, that's Batman teaming up with someone. Unless you
Right?
make a new title with just Wonder Woman teaming up with other people, like the other two have it, or World's Finest, something along those lines. Right, right. Because World's Finest is Batman and Superman. Wonder Woman doesn't
100%.
have her own, right? Like it's always about Superman and Batman. All right, forget them. So we're gonna take DC Showcase. Maybe rebrand DC Showcase for a Wonder Woman kind of run or something like that, right? So here it is. DC Showcase live action. I would need this to be just like DC likes to turn around, which is good and for awareness. And they are now doing more books for the culture. So they are doing a series of books that are coming out for Black History Month, where the characters are out there for Black History Month. And be it if you like it or not, at least they're starting off to do something. So I'm not talking about what's negative and all that. Here's my overall vision. Give me something along the time. And it doesn't have to be, it's not black versus white. And that's not what we're talking about. It's all about one love, like I said, Bob Marley. So give me a scenario where the Justice League, and they've done this before. The Justice League, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, they're off, busy, off world doing something. A threat now is coming in. Maybe Darkseid is doing a two-pronged attack. He one attack, and everyone's now fighting him off, but he's got another secret attack coming in with Steppenwolf from the back, or Calabac coming in from the back. Right?
Sorry.
Right. And now the main 7 are off-world dealing with Darkseid. Darkseid's like, yeah, fight me. I don't care if I win or lose. I just sent Calabac to go to Earth.
Steppenwolf. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Even if he keeps Steppenwolf, he's like, send Calabac, send Mantis, send, some of the other new gods that people really don't know about, but are up there on Darkseid's level that work underneath him, right? Kato, Kento, send all of them there to let them invade Earth while he distracts the main 7. That being said, in my little scenario, all of a sudden, John Stewart, Green Lantern, realizes like, oh geez, well, it's either Kal is off planet or Hal's off planet with the Justice League. I'm back here. What's going on? Wait a minute. These guys are from Apocalypse. We need some heavy hitters. Let me round up who I can round up. Now, just because of it, he might, there people he's dated Vixen. Okay. But he needs heavy hitters. So he might get Vixen. But he needs heavy hitters. So he needs the equivalent, and let him make his own version, black version of the main 7 of the Justice League to be like the home base, right? Because you had Avengers West Coast, you had Avengers East Coast, Great Lakes Avengers. Okay. You had, the Teen Titans that back up the Justice League. You have Justice League Dark, which is all magic.
Right.
Okay. This could be, it doesn't have to be Justice League Black. That would be cliche. But something else along those lines, right? Like, Nubian Justice League, as people like nickname them. So, he goes out, and within the community, he's got an easier time of finding people of color to show, and he had, like, for example, James Godfrey or whatever, or James whatever. So Godfrey was one of the people from Apocalypse, and he's good at exciting riots because he doesn't physically attack, but he'll put out there and drop, like, he made himself like a TV personality, and he was kind of putting out hate crimes. Right. So let him start doing that. Let him start kind of really getting into the temperature of, and hear me out now, of trying to use racism to cause a divide. And right away, Jon Stewart's like, hell, we got to combat this guy. Let him know that what he's trying to portray out there is not right. I want to get some, once again, strong heroes that can fight them on all levels, show black people in a positive light. Here we go. So he's going to get like Val Zod, the black Superman. He will get Nubia, the black Wonder Woman. He will get Batwing, the black Batman. Okay.
Yep.
And he puts them together with himself as a mini team, combat some of the, mind control and break that along the ways. Okay. All right. That's what I need. I need that as a DC showcase. But because we're talking about Nubia, it's even though John might come in, Nubia's got to be the focus point about it, right? Because Wonder Woman was always the warrior and compassion of the Justice League, and Nubia's got to carry that same presence, also those same ideals. She says at one point when the two men are fighting, she's like, you know why men can't stop, being better? Because you're always too busy fighting, causing wars. Women won't cause wars. So she's going to come first and foremost with that whole thing of, well, look at this, bunch of men again, need some reining in. Let me show you how a woman does it and does it right. And that's not like browbeating. It's just the fact that's her point of view.
100%.
And you bring Nubia in there with Val Zod, Batwing, Jon Stewart. Let that be a mini team that goes to combat the racism through their actions and their deeds and inspiring people, not just black people, all people.
All.
Black, white, red, yellow, purple,
100%.
green, and just the whole spreading that message of unity. So it's not just coming, right? It's coming from everybody. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And of course, they have the power to take on those new gods. Come on. Right. Okay. All right.
No, that's good.
Right. That's one way. Or she has to get in with, maybe she finds a plot that's going on by Mars, and she recruits these guys that need some heavyweights to help her fight Mars and some of the other Roman gods that maybe are trying to invade, because once again, maybe the Justice League is too busy off planet, or they want to deal. So okay, there's a whole story they did, 4-issue story called God War, or War of the Gods. That's it, War of the Gods, where Wonder Woman was front and center for this. Nubia could be something similar to that. So this is where I'm coming down to. I'm just thinking out loud. Give me Nubia. Let her be the focal point. You can see her crisscross with some of the other members, as you put it. Short series, 5 episodes, right? Under DC Showcase. Thank you very much. Even if it goes no more than 8. So 5 to 8 episodes, focus Nubia, all on Nubia. Explain her origin, explain how she's attached to the Roman gods, explain there's Greek gods around, let her deal with them on a level. So if you're dealing with the new gods from Apocalypse, you're dealing with Roman gods, it already shows how strong and how powerful this character is and what she can do. Okay. Now, that being said, I need someone that's going to look the part, act the part, be the part. Now, this person, she doesn't have maybe like per se true acting skills that we've seen yet. I'm not saying she doesn't have them. I just said we haven't seen yet. I am going with a person named Bianca Belair. So you're going to say, who's Bianca Belair? Bianca Belair is a WWE wrestler. She's extremely athletic. She just, when I say just, she was in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, where it was like 30 people fighting. And I think she came in early and she lasted almost near the end. And she fought Jade Cargill. Now, if you know Jade Cargill, she came from AEW. She's now in WWE. Jade did some cosplay. And if you look it up, Jade Cargill, on her Instagram page, you'll see her dressed as Storm, classic Storm from the X-Men. Wow. Okay. But give me Bianca Belair to be Nubia. If you see her look, you see her physical prowess, she can do a lot of the combat scenes herself. You don't got to get it brought in with a stuntman. He can handle all that. I can see her playing that role. 100%.
Okay.
So that's who I'm going with. Right now she's got her show with Love in WWE, so it's her and her husband, Bianca and Montez.
Okay.
Right. So this is who I'm going with. I know it's a little bit off, but if you really hold up the two, see her promos that she's done in WWE, you follow her career in wrestling, you see what she does in the ring, how she carries herself outside the ring. She's all about family. You know, she's doing everything. And when I say about family, it's like her and her husband, but she also has her mom and her sisters and other extended family members around too that she's taking care of at the same time. So she shows the compassion. She's got the skill. She's got the look. I think this would be an awesome role to take it. And I mean, it's not the first time where we've seen wrestlers gone onto the big screen and they've had different success, right? You know, your John Cena, Dwayne Johnson, you know, and the list goes on. Roman Reigns, Ronda Rousey, and I said, be it like her or not, they do what they need to do. So I think take a chance on someone that is a little bit more of an unknown in the acting world.
Right. Okay.
Give him the role, see what happens. So Bianca Belair is who I'm going with to play Nubia. Now, the only thing is that she's a little bit more light skinned than the character is portrayed at times, right? When she first came out, she was a little bit more darker skinned. But if you look at her more recently, they made her more light skinned. So I'm not getting into all that. I'm just saying I think that she'd be a cool person to carry on that role.
Okay. So Bianca Belair is you're a candidate for Nubia.
Yes.
And Coco Jones is my candidate for Nubia. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Absolutely. That's where I'm going with. And as I said, and I'm putting it under that thing. And I said that would be a cool, interesting way for DC to, you know, maybe this is something they can do. I know they're doing all these books for Black History Month, but maybe make their own team. We're bringing these characters together every so often, right? And because it almost worked out maybe twice a year between Black History Month in February and Juneteenth, right? It's almost like, you know, you can do it twice a year. Let them have their biannual adventures and kind of get together and start building that bond and showing people of color within the comic book industry. Where I'm talking, like I said, you know, in DC, in Marvel, in Image, in
right, completely.
Right. And it's not about division; it's really about inclusion. So have them and see how they work. I mean, look, the biggest thing right now is we had the TV show in living color, right, with the Wayans,
right,
right. Without the Wayans having in living color, we wouldn't have Jim Carrey. Jim 100%. Carrey was like at one point the only white cast member on there, and they never made him feel like he was the only white cast member on there. He was
110,
and up to now he still sings all the praises for the Wayans family,
100%,
and vice versa,
100%.
Okay,
100%. No, I agree with you. I agree with you, and trying to making a platform where, you know, everything is inclusion. The inclusion is dominantly there. You will see it. You don't feel no one is feeling excluded or anything like that. Feel everybody's included in every type of decision making, every time of action to build that platform to a next level. I fully catch that. Even when you were talking about, when you were giving your ideas, and you said, well, maybe do the Jon Stewart first, and then you said have Nubia, let's say some kind of threat that Nubia needs to call a roundup team. I was thinking at that point, great idea. I would say, if anything, and until you just said about doing something like every 6 months, that's where it would be perfect. I would say the best way to, or not the best way, or a good way to get everybody associated to Nubia is to have John be the forefront just to round up the team.
Yes.
Then John would realize that he has certain skills and understanding, but because this is a new God type of threat, and realize I need someone who understands that type of higher plane, God type of mental warfare, I have to lean to Nubia, who will now be saying, okay, John, I got you. Here's some suggestions, and let's do this. And he's just like, all right, you heard what she said. Let's go. Everybody, fall into line. Let's go.
Exactly.
And then on the next episode or next issue, that's when it basically she's putting up like the like the Thundercat type of, you know, hey, everybody looks up. Oh, snap. Nubia's calling. Everybody will be like saying, yeah, man, she did the last time. Like, yo, just call me. I'm good. If I'm free that afternoon, I'll help out. Well, it's gonna be a whole weekend thing. Baby, I won't be back for a couple of days. We gotta save the world again. I'll be back. Deuces. Where we going, Nubia? And that's it. So that'll be perfect in that regard. That if you start off with a little John Stewart type of correlation, co-starring both at that aspect, and then you can basically say the second episode and the second adventure. Sorry, the second adventure. She's basically saying, we got to do something, whatever the case it be. And again, same thing, another type of thread where the top 7, it's like I'm trying to think what's a DC version of this, and someone can correct me, but all I'm coming back is to Marvel in the sense like X-Men, you have the gold team, you got the blue team. You're talking about, you know what I mean? Having like the first stringer, the second stringer, but we're not going to call them second stringers. We just say you have.
It's like Batman and the Outsiders. It's as I said, Justice League Dark.
Well, you know what? It's yeah. There you go. Well,
yeah, I like what you're saying. Like this could be something totally different that it's untapped, right? It's like Nubia, the God Keeper. Like literally, that's what she does. Her specialty is dealing with gods and and stopping them from invading.
100%. That's exactly it. Because is there anyone currently except
Wonder Woman
if anybody's
that way, but not really. But
no,
Wonder
because
Woman can't be doing that all the time. But let Nubia do it. There's a whole.
But there's no one really doing it. But there's no offensive coming from the gods of those world of the Olympic gods. There's no one. I don't think you don't hear Olympic gods coming in with heavy hitters. The only type you hear is like the new gods.
What I said. That's the beauty of the storyline.
That's perfect,
right? And it's not that she has to only deal with those gods. She can deal with gods from every other background. 100%. She can deal with the new gods. Let her come in and deal with Darkseid sometimes. He's constantly scheming. You think Batman, Superman, and whatever we can watch them, he's constantly scheming. They're dealing with fires everywhere. She could be a specialized team with some of them to say, okay, I feel he's about to do this. He's coming for the anti-life equation. All right, let's go.
Again.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. So Nubia, Wonder Woman, so many scenarios can play out with this in a positive way. That's where I'm going with. I love to see, and I think it should happen. That's my feeling of it. Like, if there's so many characters out there, stop making new ones. Let's go back to who we have. Stop retconning them. Let's look at their history and say, shoot, this could work.
100%.
Try it on paper. James Gunn's now trying a whole different thing. Like he's bringing in the Creature Commandos, but let's go with Nubia. If you want to really do it, you do it on paper. Let's see it on screen, and not like just a 2-second cameo. Let's see it on screen, right? I mean, it worked for Black Panther when they brought it in, and if it's done right, we will follow. Okay, there we go.
That's exactly it. If DC wants to look to mimic the same type of pattern that Marvel's done on that particular stem, this would be perfect. This would be perfect.
Absolutely. They always keep talking about Michael B. Jordan coming in to do Superman, Black Superman, right? All right. It doesn't have to just be him. It doesn't, right? Like, I mean, Black Superman, it could be, as we call it, I'm calling Black Superman, but, it could be thing to jump off there. That'll be interesting. So there we go. So on that note, Rod, any last words?
No, listen. This is a great character. DC definitely knocked it out of the park with some great ideas and bring the unknown sister. Nearly can call it the twin sister. Technically, they were clade at the same time. Just saying.
Fraternal twins.
Fraternal twins. And basically, it's a great character that, it's not getting that much light on it. And as we say, we've seen a bunch of different reenactments of it, reiteration of it. But you see it on paper when we did at least I will say once I did my research on this, you see it. But outside, you don't hear about it. No. So it's like it's being done per se, but it's not getting the proper promotional push that everybody should at least have a twinkling like, you know what? Wonder Woman does have a black sister. What? You didn't know? And that should be how the conversation should go.
Right? Even a fan-made film. Give me a fan-made film, something like that. Get the ball rolling. There we go. That's the challenge for all the creators out there. So, yes. But on that note, once again, this has been the iConis podcast, and the icon is, as we said, Nubia, the Black Wonder Woman. This is our theme for Black History Month because we just got to give it back when we can. Got to be that voice. This has been the iConis podcast. And remember, this whole world was created by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. We out. Oh, the shoulders still have the shoulders.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm giving them things. Maybe the chair.